It's Kevin Keatsman Uncanceled on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio, 95.7 FM. I am Kevin Keatsman. On an historic day in the United States of America, save your pennies. Today is the last day in the history of the United States that we will mint a penny. It is over. It ends today. We've been making pennies since 1792. Today is the last day. They cost 2 cents each to make. It's your government. That's it in a nutshell. We're trying to figure out healthcare. We can't make a penny for less than a penny. It's unbelievable. Scott Bessent will mint the last penny today, folks. And we have 300 billion of them circulating. So I think they're going to be around for a while. It costs us $56 million a year to do this. And so we save $56 million today with your federal government as we're ending the penny. It will eventually be phased out, except for collectors. Who's going to take them? Why do we use them? Nickel's got to be next. Dimes after that. Maybe we need to print a $200 bill or a $500 bill or a $1,000 bill. I don't know. But I've been to Vegas before and watched people in casinos, and they pull out those stacks of hundreds. It's like, there got to be something bigger than that. Is there anything bigger than that? I don't know. It's not for me, but I'm sure it's for some people. Pennies are gone, folks. We're going to start saving pennies today in the United States of America. We have a fine show lined up for you, including something really shocking going on adjacent to Whiteman Air Force Base in Warrensburg. You're not going to believe this story. Stick around for that one coming up a little bit later. A shutdown update will bring you anything we need to know on that and a couple of things that have really gotten under my skin. And the star Kansas player that I have compared to Michael Jordan apparently has decided he's only going to play in games that matter. He's decided he's just going to ride the bench when they play crappy schools because he sat out again last night. It's the third time he sat for 3 different reasons. I'll give him credit. He's got new excuses each time why he can't play. We'll get into all of that coming up in just a little bit. So I've got a little bit different take on Pat McAfee yesterday, having the President of the United States on his podcast, which is aired live on ESPN. My take is different than most. While I applaud, obviously, McAfee for having him on. McAfee's MAGA. His entire staff is MAGA. It's a bunch of white dudes wearing cowboy hats. Some of them wear boots. They wear what we call wife beaters, muscle shirts, whatever you want to call them. Like, this is toxic masculinity at its finest, this entire sports podcast. It's all sports. But you don't turn down the opportunity to have the president on. So I like McAfee. I appreciate that. A lot of people are applauding him for saying, I don't care what people in the liberal sports media are going to say about me. It's the president. He's funny. We're going to have him on. We're going to do this. I thought McAfee went too far. I think when you're Pat McAfee, you have the president of the United States on no matter who the president is. And you don't respond to anybody that compliments or criticizes that. It's the easiest decision for any broadcaster ever. If Donald Trump wants to come on Uncanceled, he can have the show for 12 hours. We'll throw everything else out. You just don't. I would have gladly had Joe Biden on for 12 hours. It might have killed him, but I'd have had him on for 12 hours. Gladly. I'd be happy to have Barack Obama on for the entire hour or as long as he wants to stay. So McAfee goes on and on and on, and knowing that sports media, in all likelihood, are more liberal than news media. There are more news media people that are fair or to the right than there are sports media. Sports media is whacked out left. It's just so far whacked out left, you can't even believe it. So he knows this, and he's owned by ESPN. He works for ESPN, and we know what their history has been. And he's their shining star of conservatism in the middle of the day, giving them programming that people are actually watching now, as opposed to the stuff that people weren't watching. The ratings are way up compared to the liberal hosts that they used to have on in the middle of the day. McAfee, you don't need to do it. We have to move on to the next phase of MAGA, and that is we don't apologize for it, we don't explain it to anybody, and we don't justify it. We live it, we do it, and if we have to put the middle finger up to everybody, we'll just do it. We got to get out of this mindset that we have to, we don't want to hurt these snowflakes over here. No, crush them like a bug. Who cares about their weak little feelings? I don't. No, you don't kowtow to these people. I was really disappointed in McAfee, and I feel like maybe he did that because he's making so much money from ESPN that he got it out there. And if he did, that's fine. I'm not going to call the guy a sellout. I like Pat McAfee. I like all that. But then people asked him about it apparently subsequent to this, and he went into this big diatribe on how he contacted Obama and Obama's people and said, we'd like to have you on Veterans Day. Obama said he was too busy. He wanted everybody to know, I tried to get Obama on here today and he wouldn't come, but Trump would. We invited all these people. It's Veterans Day. This is a flag-waving bunch of people. They're proud of Veterans Day. They celebrated the veterans all throughout the podcast yesterday. Well, what he didn't say, let me say the part that he didn't say. Barack Obama's schedule was too busy for him to take a phone call yesterday. This is a retired man with hundreds of millions of dollars that lives on an island, basically, 2 islands, one in Hawaii, one in Massachusetts. How he's too busy for a 10-minute phone call to a podcast is, well, it's easy to explain. Obama wasn't going to give the time of day to this podcast. This is essentially toxic masculinity. All the things Democrats decry is what the McAfee podcast is. It's toxic masculinity. I mean, it is over-the-top testosterone on this show, right? They talk a lot about boys and girls sports. They talk about individual excellence. They talk about drive, persistence, overcoming odds, don't counting on anyone else, also being a great teammate and being responsible to help other people be the best they can be. The theme of their show is capitalism, make as much money as you can, and everybody on the show is white. There was no way Barack Obama was going on there. So for McAfee to even bring that up is disappointing to me because it makes it sound like, oh, well, Obama is such a big, important guy. He was too busy to come on. No. This thing was really easy to break down and see what it was. And Trump knew exactly what he was getting into. He was stepping into a group of UFC people. Like, that's his wheelhouse. There's nobody more toxically masculine than Donald Trump. It saddened me a little bit that there was like an apology for doing this. But I digress. I believe there is a chance in a few weeks or short months, we are going to look back at this week before Thanksgiving, and I'll be on the air saying, remember that time a couple weeks before Thanksgiving? How stupid were we that we didn't see both teams were going to Kansas? Why wasn't anybody saying, well, look at all the writing on the wall? Yesterday was another bad day for Missouri. The governor does 24 hours after we report here that the Chiefs are speaking with NASCAR in the state of Kansas to acquire the land to build a dome stadium worth what I'm told could be $4 billion, not $3 billion, at Kansas Speedway. The governor comes out and says, well, we've got this fabric roof system that we can put on cables in Missouri for $1.2 billion. And, Chiefs fans like to be outside anyway, but this could work. And the only thing I could think of immediately was, does he think he's dealing with Clark Griswold or Clark Hunt? It was not a good day for Missouri and the Chiefs because Kehoe kept talking in the interview and said, well, a lot of this I'm meeting with Phil Lavoda in Jackson County, and, we're going to need a vote, and we're going to go forward with it. You think the Chiefs are waiting until next November for a vote? I won't rule it out. I'm not ruling anything out. I'm merely saying we might be here in a few weeks looking back going, why didn't we just come out and say it? On the same day, Capitol Grill, which is a big deal, is a multi-million-dollar restaurant. It's very expensive. And Yard House, and I believe they're owned by the same company, Darden Restaurants maybe, it might be the name of the company, is acquiring land where the Royals want to build. And Capitol Grill and Yard House are building restaurants very close to each other with this company in Wichita that is developing that area where the Andretti racing thing is going and all this stuff's being built. Everything's going in there before the Royals. But guess what? The Royals own the mortgage. The Royals are literally the banker of all this. Why would the Royals be the banker of everything in 119th and Knoll right now, holding the note for the company in Wichita that is selling off plots or leasing land or whatever it is that they're doing to all these restaurants? I can't overstate how important it is that Capitol Grill is building there. Capitol Grill is on the plaza, and it's done very, very well. My guess is their next move down the road will be leaving the plaza, and they'll be in Overland Park. And it will thrive, and they will charge more, and they will have less theft and less crime and less problems. And the people that go to the plaza to Capitol Grill will now go to Overland Park. The signs are everywhere pointing to this. I'm not reporting anything to you. I'm just watching it happen, watching it unfold, looking at the development, and knowing that the Royals own the mortgage. For crying out loud, are we not going to feel stupid when we look back at this and go, well, Kehoe was talking about a fabric roof on steel cables like they have at a 100-year-old stadium in Germany, and, Jackson County was going to have a vote, and we were still going to be partnered up with Jackson County to keep the Chiefs where they are. Well, no NFL team has ever been offered 70%. The Washington Commanders are building a $3.7 billion dome in D.C. on the old side of the RFK Stadium. Rumor has it they're going to name it Donald J. Trump Stadium. They're getting funds from the federal government. They have the reverse deal of the Chiefs, $3.7 billion. They're building a dome with a translucent roof like Tennessee. You will sit in there on a Sunday afternoon and think you're outside. Don't think of a roof. Think of a greenhouse that's clear and the sun is shining through. Open air all the way around, extending behind the seats. It's cool. The Tennessee thing is cool, and the Washington rendering looks cool. Washington is the opposite, basically the opposite. They're putting in, the team, 70% and getting 30% funding for their $3.7 billion project. The Chiefs would be the inverse of that. They'd be getting 70% and putting in 30%. How can the Redskins, the Commanders, financially make sense to put in 70%, and we don't think it makes sense for the Chiefs to put in 30% and build a new stadium? This is just... I think we're going to look back and think we were really stupid. Now, all I've said from the beginning, I've said this for 4 years. No owners in the NFL or Major League Baseball have ever turned down 70%. Never. And I don't think 119th and Null is a great place for a ballpark, but the Royals have dollar signs in their eyes. They're going to do it on the cheap. They're going to own the land. They're going to develop the land. They just moved their team president into a new role as president of real estate development for the Kansas City Royals. They hired another baseball president. It's already going on. Whatever they're doing is in motion. They're operating this. The Royals have moved on. They're a real estate company. Their most important employee under the owner is now in charge of real estate. That's it. The signs are everywhere. There's a deadline in Kansas coming up too. 913-408-7957. That's 913-408-7957. Give me a call. Let me know what you think on these issues. This is Uncanceled on KCMO. Well, I got to calm down and be on my best behavior now. Apparently, Miss Jessica is listening to the show today. She just sent me a text. She said, hey, Pat McAfee's co-host is black on the podcast. I'm like, I forgot. The black dude that's on there that they never let talk? Yeah, I forgot he's on there. That's slightly joking. There's so many of them that they don't all get to talk that much because McAfee talks a lot. But yes, he does have one black member of his cast. Thank you, Miss Jessica. Love you, sweetheart. Thank you for listening. Good thing I made a mistake. I don't think she ever would have fessed up that she was listening.
I was going to say, you got to take her to Capitol Grill now.
Negative. No, she wants to go to 1587.
Ooh.
So I've suggested girls' night out. They can all pay for their own. It's fantastic. The guys can go to like a sports bar and watch football or something. They can go to 1587 and spend to their heart's delight. That would be cool. Scott Bessent, our esteemed Treasury Secretary, has announced today every child born retroactively to January 1 of this year and for the next 3 years is going to get $1,000 deposited into an account that's going to be invested in the United States stock market. Presumably, this is a retirement function. It absolutely, unless hardship, should be declared. It stays there till you're 65. The government's holding it for you. We can get rid of Social Security. $1,000 invested today in the stock market when you're 65 is going to be worth way more than what the average American has for retirement. You spend the $1,000 per American citizen baby born. You put it in there. You make them wait 65 years. Then they can start drawing on it. Now you're talking about a government program that may work because we can't make people save their own money because we can't make these people, these lame ass people in Olathe that were on earlier. Pete was talking about that Channel 41 package. A 52-year-old guy worked for the Olathe for 30 years and he's peeing in his cornflakes that his health insurance is going up. He's on a pension. He retired at 52. And you want us to feel bad for you because your health insurance? You people have no idea what the real world is like. Your little 30 years in government was great. You got your pension. We appreciate the work you did. Thank you. Appreciate that you went to work maybe every day, but whatever many weeks vacation, whatever happened in your government job, you went to work. But what they taught you was you're entitled and everything is coming to you. We have a pension for you. We have health care for you. We have all this. Guess what? When you don't work for the government, you can get Social Security at 62. You can get Medicare at 65. Get your ass a job, buddy. I saw a wonderful Veterans Day story yesterday. It was a veteran who was disabled in a way. It was probably a PTSD thing, but he had a service dog, and he cannot go anywhere without his dog. He needs the dog. It's legit, okay? Lowe's hired the guy. They're paying him $25 an hour, giving him full benefits, and he gets to bring his dog to work at Lowe's, where he walks with him every step of the way in the aisles and helps people find what they're looking for. Don't give me I worked 30 years in Olathe and my health insurance premiums have gone up. My Obamacare stinks. No! Get your own. Go back to work. Sorry, go back to work. Stephen is with us on KCMO. Hi, Stephen.
Hey, Kevin. I was going to comment about McAfee for a second. He knows that ESPN's been overrun by DEI hires, and he knows what his bosses. They're living in fear of all the people that were hired before him.
But
so,
not anymore, or they wouldn't have McAfee on there. They're changing. They're seeing the light.
They're still scared.
They may be, Stephen, but your point is not relevant today because ESPN crashed so hard. McAfee's ratings are almost triple what they used to have in that time slot 5 years ago. Times are changing. They see it. Everybody's seeing it.
What you don't understand is these people never go away. Once you hire them, they're like,
it's not true.
Okay,
Stephen, I got to let you go today. I love you, buddy. You're so wrong on this. You don't tell me what I don't understand about ESPN and media, okay? They got rid of like 6 shows. Those people are gone. They got rid of them. They're fired. They're gone. They brought in McAfee, who's conservative. Here's John in Topeka. Hi, John. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. The reason why I don't get to call in sometimes is because you change up the subject so much that the next one's like even better than the last one. So I'm like, wait until the end of the show to call in.
That's the kindest thing you can say. Man. Thank you. Thank you so much.
But about the stadium thing, what you just explained, it sounds so simple, but the Chiefs should take the offer. I mean, it's like the old saying of you can lead the Chiefs to water, you can't make them drink. So you get a bucket of water and pour it over their head, and it won't soak in. So you take the bucket, whap them in the head, and say, wake up, or you drop the bucket and say, we're done with you.
I love it,
yeah,
man.
I'm like, so, I mean, what do we do with the Chiefs? I mean, like, how much more grain can we bring you? How much more water? Look at all the water. Can you take a drink? Can you at least put your toe in? Looks like the Royals they're dipping in the water. What about you, Chiefs?
Well, they're all waiting until the very last second to get the very best deal they can. And I think what's happening with the Royals in Johnson County is they want to know what the county's going to kick in and what the city's going to kick in. 70% is the sure thing. They got that. But if they can run this up to 75%, they will. And we're talking about big numbers if you get 5% more from Johnson County and Overland Park. And the same thing over in Kansas. There's going to be something from Wyandotte County. I don't know what it will be. Waiving taxes, something. That's all being negotiated with this land acquisition. They're going to get the best deal they can. These owners are really good at this.
And about the stadium, did they say a 65,000 person stadium for the Chiefs if they decide to do that?
Yes, that's what Pete reported last week, yes.
Why don't they make it bigger and better? I mean, why not?
Because they're going to be very expensive seats, and they're going to be massive suites. You won't have room for it. The times have changed. We used to have little tiny seats for really skinny Americans, and now we're big fat Americans. And so that's what everybody's going to is smaller seats that cost more money. That's just the wave of sporting events now. Smaller stadiums, not smaller seats. Bigger seats, smaller number of seats, more expensive is the profile. This is KCMO. So there's just an incredible story about Whiteman Air Force Base on the website of Daily Caller. It's dailycaller.com. And I did this as the lead today on my podcast, Kevin Keatsman Has Issues. If you want to hear this extensively, I probably did 15 minutes on this with all of the details of everything that's going on at Whiteman Air Force Base, according to Daily Caller. You can go to kkhasissues.com and just click the play button. It's like a website. It's real easy. If you're not a podcast listener, I get it. You don't have to go downloading any apps or sign up on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever. But if you do listen to podcasts on those platforms, it's there every day. It's KK Has Issues is the name of the podcast, or just go to kkhasissues.com. According to Daily Caller, This is unbelievable. I'm not going to get into I'm going to move on to other topics, but this is crazy. There's a 27-acre trailer park, for lack of a better term, that shares a fence with the Air Force Base. It is owned by a Chinese couple that lives in Canada. This couple that lives in Canada also has land adjacent to military installations in Michigan and Utah. We've been running around, our little shell game, moving around. Where's the ball? Where's the ball? Where's the ball? We've been keeping our eye on the ball of the farmland. We don't want the Chinese to own all our farmland. I get that, for food security purposes. When this shutdown ends and they figure out what they're going to do with the Obamacare stupidity, they need to work on Chinese ownership of land in America. This is a complete and utter fraud. They had a former CIA person in this story quoted as saying, it is 0% chance that a married couple from China moves to Canada and their dream investment is 27 acres in a trailer park in Knob Noster, Missouri, where there's 2,900 residents. That this has to do with jamming signals, interrupting cell phone transmissions, calls, watching the patterns of testing with the stealth bombers. There are nearby storage units. They say there literally could be storage containers or storage units where there are weapons or things that we wouldn't even know it. I think we need like an ICE raid on this thing. I think we need to get in there and raid this place and check it all out. It's an unbelievable read. It's at dailycaller.com. Or for full details of all of it, you can go to my podcast, Kevin Keatsman Has Issues. It's kkhasissues.com. You can hear the whole thing. It is alarming. It's terrifying is what it is, because there is no way that a Chinese couple living in Canada decided that their future was buying 27 acres in Knob Noster. No, that's not a game plan moving from China. No way, shape, or form. This story I just love. Sean Duffy's our transportation secretary. He gave an interview this morning calling out Gavin Newsom. Said, we have him caught red-handed. Your transportation department, your Trump administration, your vote that mattered just took trucking licenses away, driving over-the-road trucks and school buses in California from, oh my God, you're not going to believe this number, 17,000 illegal alien drivers. We used to sit here and say Trump came down that escalator and said, well, not all of them are bad. It's one, and everybody, then the defense of the liberal media was there's only one or two crimes that you can even point to. I think we're over 1 million now. ICE has either rounded up and deported, or the people have self-deported that have committed crimes in our country that are illegal aliens. It's like 1 million people. Like 1 million people came here from other countries illegally, in addition to the crime they committed coming in illegally and being here illegally, they committed another crime. This is 17,000 more as far as I'm concerned. Gavin Newsom made it legal. This is one of the worst possible things you can do. We've got people getting killed out on the road because there's drivers that can't read or speak English. 17,000 illegal alien drivers certified with licenses in California, driving in Kansas, driving in Missouri, driving all over. They're among us. They're ripping right through on I-35, I-70, whatever. Their licenses have been revoked. If, this is an easy one, if they now get pulled over with their California driver's license that's been revoked and it's in the database, guess what? They get out of their truck and get into an airplane. It's over. I voted for this. Thank you, Sean Duffy. That's just an unbelievable thing that's taking place there. We're expecting a vote tonight on a government shutdown being ended by the House of Representatives. I got a couple simple questions for you. Why does it take 4 days to reopen the government? Of all the we talked about the penny at the start of the show and how ridiculous it is to keep printing pennies. And Obamacare and what a loser that is. And all of these government programs that don't work. How is it that we have a government that you can't open up and they got the 60 votes on Sunday night. What? Just open it. Let's go. If that's what we're doing. Now, I don't care because I haven't been affected by this. And I'm in the majority. But if you watch the news, that's not what you're getting today. And you're getting it from Fox News, Newsmax, websites that are conservative-leaning, people that are playing straightforward on these stories. They're all listening to what the left has said all along. What has the left in the media and the politicians on the left said all along? Every single American is affected by this government shutdown. That is a lie of massive proportions. If 42 million, well, first of all, 17 million were on SNAP when Biden took over. Now it's 42 million. So let's just say 17 million and assume that the rest don't belong on there and don't deserve it and shouldn't have it and are probably illegal aliens. So let's go with 17 million. There's 340 million of us. That's 320 million of us not affected by SNAP. We got all kinds of things like this. Truly, all kinds of things. We can go across the board on all these different things they're talking about. We've got to get back to this. Air traffic controllers, this is so unfair. There's 14,000 of them out of 340 million. No. The overwhelming number of Americans, if they don't follow news, wouldn't have been able to tell you that the government was closed. This is all a lie. These people live in a bubble. They work in a bubble, whether they're in politics, whether they're lobbyists, whether they're corporations, whatever they do, and they work in the Northeast Corridor, we have got to take the Northeast Corridor of this country and break it up. And I don't mean as a country. I mean, we've got to disperse these people to other places. Like move the CIA to Dallas. Move the Food and Drug Administration to Bismarck, South Dakota. Or is that North Dakota? Where's Bismarck?
North Dakota.
Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I'm going with South Dakota today. It's closer to here. Right now, shadows of Mount Rushmore. We need to move these people out, and the lobbyists will follow them to these other places. They live in a bubble and think they live in a country that they don't live in. They literally believe, smart people that do this for a living, believe that every one of us was impacted by this shutdown. It's not true. I'm guessing most of you right now were not impacted. If you're retired and on Social Security, did you get your check? Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah. And I'm sorry, you were not impacted. You were impacted in a positive way. If you were furloughed for 6 weeks and getting your full pay back and your job back, that's called vacation. Mark, you take 6 weeks off without a paycheck if you get full pay at the end?
Sure.
Why not?
Might as well.
If you have put yourself in your life, in your family, in such a predicament as a government worker with all the benefits that you have, that you're not losing, by the way. If you get sick, you can still go to the doctor. You're not losing any of that. If you've worked for the government all these years, you got your family, and you can't miss 2 paychecks, you're a loser. I was going to say it. You've blown it. You're sitting there counting on them to always take care of you. You're like a toddler. You're waiting for a plate full of Cheerios that you can eat with your hands. It's pathetic. 2 paychecks, and you're getting them back? 2 paychecks. When I was my brokest broke in my 20s, I could have gotten by without 2 paychecks if they'd have caught up with me. Will your Visa people that I used to send Visa like $20 a month. That's all I could afford. And we racked up in those days a lot of money, like $1,000 on a credit card. Stupid, young, and dumb. We made a lot of mistakes. If they cut 2 of my paychecks that were, wait for it, $383 each twice a month. That's what I brought home out of college, beating out 95 other people for a sports anchor position at a CBS affiliate with a college degree. They could have cut off 2 of those payments. I still would have made my rent check back at the end. It would have been late, might have affected my credit. I'm going to guess if you're a government worker, you go to your credit source and say, hey, I missed 2 paychecks, and they'll just wipe it right out for you, and it won't hurt your credit score. I'm sick of the complaining. I'm tired of all this, and I didn't feel the government shut down, and I'm just glad that they say they're going to do something with Obamacare. Roger Marshall says he's going to do it. I'm not convinced it's going to be great. He's talking about $150 billion no longer going to insurance companies, going directly to people. Well, that's still big government spending money on something that they shouldn't be spending money on. That's what that is. They're just moving it from the insurance company to individuals. And by the way, it's way more than $150 billion a year. So the insurance companies, Marshall's not even talking about cutting all of it. There are estimates that we spend $400 billion a year on Obamacare. So that means the insurance companies still get $250 billion? We're just going to pull out a portion of this and give it to individuals? So I don't like it anyway. I liked all the nuclear options while Trump is president. How about we get rid of Obamacare? How about it goes away and you find your own way? If you're retired, you've got Medicare. If you're able-bodied, you get a job. I'm telling you, that Veterans Day story stuck with me at Lowe's. That veteran that had to go to work with his dog and they hired him, he got a salary and benefits, working 30 hours a week at a Lowe's. It's not that hard. We had a lady call in a few weeks ago, says, I'm not all that well physically, but I can work. My mind's sharp, all that. She's had office jobs her whole life. So what about Amazon? Amazon hires like crazy. Every single person at Amazon, you know what they pay for health insurance? $1. $1. Go get it. Go get you an Amazon job. I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't do this. I can't deal with these sob stories anymore. I know there are people that really need these things, and we need a safety net. It just isn't even close to the number they say, and we know this because they lie and say every single one of us was affected by the shutdown. That is not true. It's just not even close to true. In fact, I'm not sure I have a person in my friend group. I'll say my closest friends extend out to about 20 people. I'm not sure a single one of them was affected in any single way by this thing. No, it's just one lie after another. Trump says he's going to lower the coffee tariffs. Have you seen this? Apparently coffee prices are pretty high. This is a nice flex. It's saying, okay, not every tariff is perfect. Coffee prices have gone up too high. We're going to lower the tariff and bring the prices down. But it makes me wonder, will other industries, okay, let's say I don't know, just pick a product. Let's say it's related to something else being imported, a computer chip. You sell a software or something, and your software costs $1,000, and you raise it now to $1,200 and say that's because of the tariffs. And if Trump believes that, then he lowers the tariffs, and now you could really sell it for $800 because the tariff is down and be just fine, but you lower it to $1,100, and now you're making more money than ever. You can never really trust the people who are selling it. We have to rely on supply and demand and businesses competing against one another. We learned this during COVID. The fraud that businesses committed on the taxpayers of this country, pretty much every business that took money should be locked up. The CEO should be locked up and thrown in jail from COVID. They all stole COVID money. Every one of them faked it. There's no way to police it. It was like the greatest legal heist in the history of the United States. Everybody was in on it. Small businesses, medium businesses, large businesses, everybody got in on it because there was trillions they were giving away. And we wonder why we got inflation. Then we put Biden in, and he does the unaffordable Inflationary Act. What'd they call it? Not the anti-inflation, the Inflation Reduction Act, the Inflation Increasing Act. They just what they did. They increased it with $1 trillion plus. And we wonder why things cost so much. It's going to take time to level them off. They're not going to come backwards, folks. Prices don't come backwards. But they may level off for a long period of time, and then wages will catch up with it, and we'll all be better off. The number one country song in the country today on the digital country top 40 is by a band called Breaking Rust. It's called Walk My Walk. There's a good-looking dude in a cowboy hat. They show this band. They play it. It is the number one country digital song in America, and it's fake. There are no humans. It's all AI. They tricked Spotify. They tricked Apple Music. They tricked everyone. What say you about AI music, Mark? You love music.
I've seen too much of this lately. One of my friends posted a music video, and I had to tell him that it was not real. And too many people are getting fooled by this stuff. I don't like it. I think that it has to, at least if it's a music video or some kind of video, it needs to say that it's AI. I don't think that there should be...
I like that.
Even if they're going on the radio, it has to mention AI.
Anywhere it's posted that can be accessed publicly, it needs to have a label. I agree with that. And I'm not a regulation guy. I've not thought of that. That's brilliant. I said on my podcast earlier today talking about this, something needs to happen. I don't know what. You can't advertise cigarettes on TV or radio. You can't touch a beer to your lips on TV in a commercial. We have all kinds of regulations about what you can and can't do. You can't show porn on television that are public channels. So you're so right. It just needs a label. Like the E for explicit or M for mature or something like that. It needs an AI logo. And if you don't post it and you publish it somewhere without that logo, then you probably first time a fine.
Yeah, get a fine and then maybe more later.
That's the best thing I've heard today. Mark Van Sickle bringing it. Because we've done this in a million places. It needs to be done on AI. Or it's some sort of a crime. We're not going to send you to Leavenworth for 30 years, but there you go. Darren Peterson's committing a crime at the University of Kansas. He took a lot of money to play basketball there, and he's great. He's going to be the number one pick in the draft. He's outstanding, but apparently he doesn't want to play against bad teams. In the NBA, they call this a player that doesn't play every game in the NBA. What do they call this?
Load management.
Load management. That means I'm not playing all the time because it's too hard on my body. I don't want to get hurt. I got too much on the line here. Is that what Darren Peterson's doing?
I could see that. I could see that early on. I'd like to see him play every game, but I guess if he's afraid of getting hurt against one of these lesser teams, it kind of makes sense. But at the same time, I just want to go out and see him score 40 on this team.
I think you just said yes. I couldn't quite get it out of you. I think you said yes.
Yeah.
I know you didn't want to say yes.
Yeah.
The first time he was out, he said it was cramps. Second time, he said he didn't feel well. And yesterday, after a walk around, very light practice, he came back later in the day in street clothes and says, my hamstring's tight. I can't go tonight. He didn't play because they were playing Long Island. Is that who it was?
Texas Corpus Christi.
Corpus Christi, okay. Yeah. Abdullah Ahmed is leaving the G League for BYU, and KU fans have lost their minds. Bill Self honestly said this a few weeks ago, said, I didn't know you could take players from the G League. Mm-hmm. What would stop you? This is professional basketball now.
That's crazy. I don't think that should be allowed.
Okay, and so you're a KU fan. So my response on social media was like, oh, really, KU fan? You don't like it when somebody else is gaming the system for an advantage, huh?
I don't think any team should get this, though.
It's because Bill Self didn't do it first.
No, I wouldn't like it if Bill
Kansas
did.
has been at the forefront of getting players in seedy ways for 50 years. And now other teams are beating them to the punch. It's driving them crazy. I get it. All right, that's it for Uncanceled. Good stuff, buddy. The Vince Show coming up next on KCMO Talk Radio.